Today we'll be looking at the picture profiles available on the Canon 5D Mark III and how they might influence your chosen exposure level. The only variable that changes between these tests is the amount of light in the scene, as the aperture, shutter speed and ISO have remained consistent throughout this experiment. When testing these picture profiles at different exposure levels, we'll also be concerned with how much information is retrievable with post-production colour correction at different light levels within each profile. This comparison looks at 3 different picture profiles in the 5D: EOS Standard, Neutral and Technicolor's Cinestyle. EOS Standard is a preset within the camera. It gives a true-to-life level of contrast and is your base setup on the 5D. Neutral is an adjusted preset which gives the best possible range without using an external picture profile. This neutral colour profile is created in camera by slightly adjusting the internal contrast and saturation settings to alter the base neutral profile to the settings we recommend. Adjust your sharpness to 0, your contrast to -4 and your saturation to -2. The third profile we've compared is Technicolor's Cinestyle. This is a third-party picture profile which can be easily added to your camera using the USB connection leads provided and the EOS utility software, which is free to download from Canon. A link to a more detailed walkthrough on how to load this onto your camera is provided in the description. Our display setup here is made up of 3 windows. From the left we have our gamma graph. On this we will be able to see our internal gamma profile as recorded by the camera, displayed as an orange line. Where applicable, a blue line will be used to show when post-production colour correction has been applied. Our next window is our output. Here you will be able to see our final shot in full quality as recorded by the camera. The third window is a recording of the 5D's LCD screen displaying all current camera settings. To start, we'll look at normally exposed footage in the standard picture profile. As you can see on the left, there is an internal adjustment to the gamma curve, providing a natural level of contrast within the image. On our gamma graph, we can see that this profile is crushing down the lower mids and shadows, while simultaneously pushing the higher mids and highlights. This results in an increased level of contrast within the image. This change in gamma results in a recorded image with little range for colour correction. Next we have our neutral picture profile at regular exposure. This slightly raises the gamma in the darker portions of your image, whilst lowering the brightest parts, resulting in an image with less contrast and therefore more scope for adjustments in post-production. Next we are using our Cinestyle picture profile. Cinestyle is designed to increase your dynamic range to the maximum extent of the camera's ability. As you can see, the shadow detail is harshly raised and the highlight roll-off is lowered. This profile gives you a huge increase for colour adjustment. Its main pro is increasing the range of your shadows. Now we'll look at these picture profiles when underexposing by one stop. As you can see, underexposing the 5D Mark III in EOS Standard leads to an immediate loss of detail in the shadows. This loss of detail is somewhat less when using the neutral colour profile. As Cinestyle's gamma curve greatly raises the blacks, you retain much more detail here. When graded, it holds up well, with only a small amount of noise artifacts appearing in the shadows. You can see these issues extend the further you underexpose the camera. When underexposing by 2 stops, you lose most of your image in EOS Standard. As the neutral gamma curve is aimed more at retaining highlights here, there is still a large loss of detail in the shadows. Cinestyle keeps the most information overall. Due to its raised blacks, however, there is a large amount of noise production when graded. An example of this is in the red blotches you can see here in the jacket shadows. The range of the 5D can hold overexposing by one stop in EOS Standard, giving a clean, balanced image. When upping the exposure in neutral, we can see a positive result in the shadow detail and very little loss in the highlight specularity. The Cinestyle profile retains the range fully without any loss in highlight detail. When graded, there is little noise in the shadows and it gives a balanced image overall. Despite the increased level of contrast, the camera can still retain this level of exposure. We are now approaching the clipping point in the highlights of the neutral profile, with the exposure being pushed by 2 stops. However, the rest of the image is well exposed, with little noise in the shadows. In the Cinestyle profile, you can almost retain all the highlight detail within the shot, and gives you the most depth in your shadows possible for this camera. Dependent on the needs of your project, each pitch profile has its own strengths. But when looking closely at the difference between these profiles, it's the availability of detail in the shadows which is key, and it's picture profiles like Neutral and Cinestyle which gives you this room for colour correction.